welcome to a new video. My name is Tuomas. If you didn't know, this is Sound of Free. In this video I'm gonna be doing something that I have been avoiding for years, which is I'm gonna be ranking my top 10 favorite Beach Boys tracks. And this is gonna be the winter edition. My idea for this is to do one for each season. So I'm gonna be doing one in the springtime, one in the summertime, and one in the autumn time as well. So 3 more to go this year. Why have I been avoiding doing this? Well, I personally am not a big fan of these sort of ranking things. I think it's silly. It's so silly to rank or say that this song is the best. And anyway, like, I always just try to avoid using those adjectives like which is the best, which is the worst, and you know, so I just find it ridiculous and I don't find it that interesting. I always skip these sort of videos when other people do this because it's just a list. It's just a list. It's personal opinion, and you know, who cares? I feel that way. But I came up with a little bit of different angle for this. At the top of my head, I cannot remember how many songs they actually released and recorded, but I think it's about 300 or something like that. And I'm not gonna just list the songs, I'm gonna also give some value for this video by explaining what I do like about these songs, so it's gonna be a bit more lengthier. But the way I did this was I went through the whole discography of the Beach Boys, and basically I just handpicked first my favorites. I didn't spend too much time on it, I just sort of wanted to do it by instinct, and after that I had maybe, I don't know, 30-40 tracks or something like that, maybe even a little bit more, and then I gave them a rating, and the same thing with this. Didn't want to think about it too much, I just went with the gut feeling, and the rating for me, I used basically 1 out of 10, but all of these tracks were at least 8, number 8s, so most of them actually were number 9s or even 10s. So anyway, but after that I then just ditched all the 8s and 9s, so I was just left with the number 10 songs, 10 out of 10s, and then from those I handpicked the best, and I think there was like maybe 20 10 out of 10s, so I ditched about half of those. And after that I made a list, and this list is in a sort of best or worst to best order. So it starts from the worst and we'll go to the best, which I think is best right now as of winter 2024. And the number 10 is Cabinessence from 2020, or Smile Sessions, either way. Cabinessence, it's one of those songs that, it's not the type of song that I think of the first when somebody mentions the Beach Boys, but each time I actually hear that song I just feel it might be one of the best songs of all time. For some reason I can really relate to those lyrics, and it's out of the Smile material and the lyrics that Van Dyke wrote for Smile. I think it's one of the most easily comprehensible and digestible songs, and the feeling it evokes in me, that it's very beautiful, and I love westerns, I love that atmosphere, and I think this track truly has that, and it feels so authentic, and it's the instrumentation on it, the structure, I just love it. I truly just love it. Number 9 for me is Steamboat from Holland by Dennis Wilson, and this is, oh, I bit my tongue. This is a very similar song to me with Cabinessence, and Steamboat is another surprise, might be a surprise for some people that I have it this high up in my list, but this song with Sail on Sailor has just grown. I always loved this song, even more than Sail on Sailor in the first time, you know, when I got into Holland album, but for some reason this song just keeps growing on me. The vocals, that sort of muddy production on it, and that amazing guitar solo. I don't know who plays it, but it is so beautiful, and it sounds exactly like a Steamboat. And there's something about these old machines and that atmosphere that is really beautiful to me. It is so exciting. And I think it's Dennis who does those amazing bass vocals on it. That's my favorite part. That bass vocal, which is, it's sort of corny, but it is so cool, and I don't know, I just love to sing along to that part. It is so amazing. Yeah, let's move on. Number 8 is Time to Get Alone, which is a very wintry track. And this one, once again, from 2020, great album. It's a hidden gem. It's so underrated. Nobody else outside of the Beach Boys fandom knows this song, but it's just as good as anything on Pet Sounds. It's amazing. That composition, that melody, that vocal performance, and that psychedelic sort of taste in it. It has that sort of psychedelic atmosphere. I guess it's because of some of the ways it's produced and also arranged. Especially the deep and wide part is so out of it's so left field. The whole thing is just, it's so beautiful, and I can really relate to that story and those lyrics and that landscape that it paints in my mind. It's truly a gem. I really love it. Then I think this is number 7. Yeah, that was Time to Get Alone was 8, so this is number 7. And it's Please Let Me Wonder off of Today, 65. And Today is one of my favorite albums by the Beach Boys. It's just perfection from start to finish. I love the whole thing. But Please Let Me Wonder is if it was on Pet Sounds, it would probably be like the best song on Pet Sounds, or at least one of the like top 3 tracks. How can you get better than that? You just can't. I love that lyrical idea. Deals with love, so it's this sort of traditional pop song theme, but the angle in it is very unusual because it's the situation in the song is not your traditional love song type of a thing. It's more like, you know, one person cares about another person a lot, but he doesn't, or they don't know if the other person cares about them. So instead of letting know the true emotions, they hope that they just keep it hidden, so that they won't have to be disappointed. It's a very sad situation, and the whole thing, the production on it, the instrumentation, I think it has a flute part or something, or is it organ? I'm not sure, but it has that doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. It's just, it's so beautiful. It's so perfect. And number 6, I believe, is once again out of Today. In the Back of My Mind, lead vocals by Dennis Wilson, and this song, it could have been higher on the list as well. I just can't get past this. This is so amazing. The first time I heard this, my mind was just blown. And there are 3 versions of this song that I know of by the Beach Boys. The studio version, then there's the, I think, 75 demo version by Brian, where he just plays piano. He's basically probably smoking a cigarette. It has this jazzy atmosphere. He's playing piano and singing it with some ad-lib lyrics, and I love that version just as much as the Today version. And then there's a live version from 75, I think, as well, from the Chicago Beach Boys tour, with Dennis singing it live on stage. And that version, you can find it on YouTube. The audio quality is extremely poor, but it is so mind-blowing. And I hope that somewhere there is a good quality soundboard recording of that live rendition, because it is it truly is mind-blowing. I remember hearing that maybe 10 years ago, but I've been recently listening to that again and I just can't get past it. It is so amazing how great it would have been to experience it live. Dennis's 70s deeper soulful vocals on it, and that whole experience live, it's otherworldly. It truly is. It is so freaking amazing. Anyway, like this whole song, I can really relate to those lyrics, and uh, it's not your typical pop song. It doesn't have like chorus verse structure. The structure is unusual. The chords are unusual, and the whole thing it's very jazzy, but it has a very memorable melody. It's very poppy, you know, and that's really the genius of Brian Wilson to me. And he can really write great poppy, memorable songs, but when you actually start to think about the song, it's not anything like other pop or rock music. It's just so. Then this is just a great example of that. It's not a rock song. It's not a pop song even. And then we have actually another Dennis Wilson song, and this is officially unreleased until it was released on a Feel Flows box set. Actually, it was released the first time on Made in California in 2013. But the song is Wouldn't It Be Nice to Live Again? And I chose here the extended version that is on Feel Flows. This track, oh my god. First of all, Dennis is at the top of his voice is the best over here. Vocally, he's amazing. It's before his voice started to deteriorate, and the song itself it's very poetic. I love the lyrics, and the production on it it's not sappy in a way that Dennis used to around this time period when he did the stuff with Daryl Dragon. He used a lot of strings and did this sort of orchestral bombastic thing. But this song, even though it is a huge production, it doesn't have that flavor. It's very more balanced. And this song was, for the longest of time, it was that hidden gem that nobody really had heard of, and there were a lot of rumors that how great it actually is and stuff like that, until it was finally then released about 10 years ago. And I remember when I heard it the first time, it was like I don't know, it was just like a glimpse dropped from heaven. I just fell in love with the song immediately, and I still think that it's so criminal that this song wasn't included on Surf's Up, because if it was included, it would have been like the second best song on the album. But whatever, it's just a great freaking masterpiece. And then we only have four to go, and number 4 is I'm sure this is gonna be a big surprise for a lot of people, but this is actually a song out of That's Why God Made the Radio, so the reunion album from 2012, and it is Summer's Gone, written by Brian Wilson, Joe Thomas, and out of all people, John Bon Jovi. But this song it's the best possible way to end the Beach Boys recording career. There's no doubt about it. It's so poetic. It is so melancholy, sad, dealing with getting old, and not necessarily getting old, but it's just dealing with the death. The certain, like the unavoidable death for all of us. Mortals. So I listened to this song a lot when I dealt with my depression, and even though it's written from the perspective of an old man, the lyrics don't necessarily literally talk about age. So it's just about that feeling of realizing that your days are kind of getting getting shorter and less. So if you have that sort of mood sometime and you listen to this song, it can really touch you in interesting ways. But Anyway, it's just a beautiful song, amazing vocal performance. Mostly by Brian, but Mike is there too, and Jeff, I think, in the backgrounds. But amazing song, and I wish the album was titled after it, as it was originally intended to be called Summer's Gone, but then it was changed in the last few minutes. But anyway, just a great freaking song. Number 3 is a track from '66. We all know this track, and it is Good Vibrations. And I don't care which version. I love the released original single version, the 7-inch version, but I love just as much the Smile Sessions version, the full version with the hum-de-da part and the extended outro. Both of them are excellent. This track is just, I really should do my own video about it and talk about whatever, because this song is so huge. Everything has been said about it, but anyway, I always love this song. I find it creepy in parts and extremely uplifting in some other parts. It's like a symphony compressed to one pop song, and there's really nothing else like it. It's just it's just a masterpiece, really. Number 2 is out of Pet Sounds, and no, it's not actually God Only Knows. It's I Just Wasn't Made for These Times. God Only Knows almost got onto this list, but it's actually not on this list, so it's not number 1 either. I Just Wasn't Made for These Times just really touches me. And I think it's superior to God Only Knows. Personally, for me at least, I really love everything about it, and I can really relate to those lyrics, and I think they are so poetic, deep, and even though it's a sort of mindset that people can have in their late teens or sort of like early adulthood. I remember feeling this way a lot around the time I was about 20 years old, but I don't really feel that way anymore that much, because I just don't really care about, this sort of subject that the song talks about. I think that's something that happens to people when they get older. They just sort of accept or accept the things, that they are where they belong, basically, and I think that has happened to me as well. But I remember at times I was so keen on this song. I truly felt that I could relate to it a lot, and the whole Pet Sounds album as well, and yeah, sometimes maybe still, but anyway, I just think it's such an interesting subject to write a song about, because it's not that usual theme, but I feel it's something that a lot of people can relate to anyhow. But the whole thing, the production on it, the melody, the vocal performance, and the way that it's actually it's sort of a dual lead vocal by Brian and Dennis, and this is something that I think I forgot to mention in my Pet Sounds review, but I love the fact that it's a shared lead vocal by Brian and Dennis. Dennis sings, I'm not sure, not probably all of the lines, but at least a lot of the lines with Brian simultaneously. So that blend is just incredible. That sound, it's almost like a third guy. It sounds like somebody else, because it's Brian's and Dennis's voices just blend together so well, and it has so much soul. I really love it. My number 1, it's a big one, and it is Surf's Up, out of Surf's Up or Smile Sessions. I love every version of the song. I don't really care which one. I just love the whole damn song. First time listening to Surf's Up, it blew my mind. I remember going into it not knowing much about it. I think somebody it was around 2011-12. I was getting into this Smile material, and it wasn't, the first time listening to that wasn't actually listening to the full album. I think somebody recommended the song somewhere, and I went to YouTube or something and played it with my headphones, and I was like, yeah, this is very interesting. Okay, and then we go to the middle section where Brian comes in, and it's basically like a hard cut to another song. And I remember my jaw just dropping to the floor, and I was like, what the heck, can you do this in a song? Like, what happened over here? And I remember getting so teary-eyed somehow. I had no idea what the lyrics were about. I guess I still kind of don't have. It's a strange song lyrically, but it somehow just touched me in a very special way. And how then it sort of fades into that, you know, that huge tag part, that last part, the third section, or flows into that section. It's so beautiful and so unique. I seriously don't know any other song that maybe I have sometimes compared this to Day in the Life, the Beatles song. They have some similarities to me, or you know, but you know, it's just, there's really not any other music that even serves up. It is so unique, and the way it's written and constructed it's just mind-blowing, and I will never forget that feeling of hearing it the first time and just sort of thinking like, can you do this? Like, it just felt so unreal. Like, how does this even work? Because it snaps into another song basically in the middle, and you're like, what? And then now I don't even think about that anymore when I listen to it, because I've gotten used to it. But it is so unexpected when you hear it the first time. It just, I don't know, it's just so mesmerizing. But that was my list. I would love to know your lists as well, because I think that's the most interesting part for me in this thing. So, you know, please write your own list. What songs do you find the best for you yourself right now? And hopefully I'll remember to come back to this and do another one in the springtime. And when I will at some point do the follow-up part, I'm not gonna come back to this, because I want to take a sort of a break, you know, and forget what I said in this video, so that when I do the next list, it's gonna be more interesting to see, will I choose the same songs or different songs without remembering, you know, what I chose over here. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.